When we're talking about extension, you've got to think the dimension of this leg has got to be longer. So if I lift and push back, you can see how much. I'm not just pushing the skin, pushing the whole of this area into this back support, into the back of the pelvis. I'm pushing the whole of this area into the back of the pelvis. So you can see here already I've got to start using my spine. If I'm like this, relaxed, I know it's easy pose, Sukhasana, but we've got to see that we activate it in some way because we want to make changes in the body. So yoga is all about, particularly the asana, about taking yourself to places which are new. So you find new areas of the body so that this helps to support you long term. So now what I want you to do is to be very mindful of this area. Look at the screen, all of this area. So this area here becomes very important in yoga practice. When you breathe, you've got to think that there is a division. And when you breathe, although there is this breadth and broadness, there is a downward action. So you open the curtain and then the action goes down. So it's a two-way direction. It's a breadth and a depth, a breadth and a depth. Alright, so to start the class today, we're going to come into a supine action. How nice. Now just have a look at the screen. I want you to become aware of the length of the sideways. So you can initiate more extension, more length when you take your arms above the head. Now if your arms cannot reach the floor, place a bolster underneath the arms. You could have a couple of bed pillows too. Reach with those legs, reach with the legs, reach with the arms, reach with the arms, soften the belly. So the belly has got to reach towards the spine side. And breathe. Be aware of the inhalation and the exhalation. Go again, reaching those legs, reaching those legs, reaching those arms. Go again. Letting the arms release down, letting the openness come in the chest, and a soft inhalation and exhalation. And go once more. See if you've got any more room to walk those feet forward, away from you towards the end of the mat. Can you reach those arms again away from you? Now, the whole of the middle center, remember what I was saying in the preparation, has got to sink towards the spine side. So you need to sink that area. And just be there for a moment. Feel that softening, sinking, opening, directing, very strong action. Okay, well done. And now coming up. Now, your challenge is to get as much length in that sideways, but sitting in Dandasana. Bit of a job I would say. So this means to say that we have to slightly come forward so we get all of that length. Now it's more in the back body. So where we were lying down in supine action, now we're sitting, and you have to see that it comes towards the back side. Now you've got to see that the sacral lumbar junction is opening, ground down with the thighs. Now if you're struggling at this stage, it's not a crime, don't worry. Sit on a couple of foam pads if you feel that you're dropping. You want to be very much on those creases of the thighs. You want to be very much pushing those inner thighs down very strongly. And breathe. Now we're coming for Urdhva Hastasana. So when we come for this, we're going to take the arms out wide. So work with me, extending into the fingers. Just be there. Lift your chest. Rotate the arms in this position. It's a job, I know. palms up towards the ceiling, and then extend the arms up. Now go up. Same thing with this action, the Dandasana, as you were in Supta Tadasana, in Urdhva Hastasana. So when we reach up, these are your fingers, you're going to reach them as if there's a wall behind you, you're climbing the wall. These legs have got to also walk away from you. And everything's got to extend. Everything's got to reach. Yeah, it's such a strong action. And then releasing. So my advice is, those of you who are really challenged by this, sit on some support. You're going to get so much length from these extensions of the legs. Okay, watch again. This time we're going to get all of that length, extending again, repeating, yeah, I know, repeating, extending into the fingers, lifting up. Rotating the arms so it's collecting your back body. Taking the arms up. Now we're going to walk those legs a little bit more and lift up. Notice that little action that I'm coming into now. Lifting from the sacral lumbar junction and going up. Yeah. Now I'm going to see, can I bring my arms together, palms together, bending the elbows and being in this position. So you want to get that really nice lift of the chest in this position. Now, see that you move the dorsal spine in, dorsal spine in, dorsal spine in, dorsal spine in. Yeah. Now, keeping the dorsal spine in, take your hands right back like that. Now, we're coming into this lifting action, Purvottanasana. So when you're here, you just be here for a moment. You've got to get so much length because you've got to lift the whole of the body up. And again, you've got to lift the spine, lift the spine. See if you can push down even more into those arms to let the head go. Lift the sacral lumbar junction. And then releasing. Oh, that was a bit of a toughie. So you've got to move in at the sacral lumbar junction. So we go again in Dandasana. Readjust the pose. So you've just come out of quite an extreme action. Readjust it, come forward a little bit, go back a little bit. Get the arms out, breathe really nicely. Get that breath going. Extending really nicely. Rotating, taking the arms up. Now you've got to really reach like we did in that supine action. Where are your legs reaching away from you? Is your abdomen drawing in and extending? Then we come into this action nicely, lifting the sternum, chest really nicely. So keeping that action, taking the hands back, extending. Then see, can you reach up and lift so much in the spinal area, but also press down with those arms, push those arms, push those arms, push those arms down, push those arms down, push those arms down. Okay, so those of you who find this is just horrendous to do, then you can use bricks underneath your hands. So I'm just going to go through some of the instruction for the next action. So you're going to come into Urdhva Mukha Svansaana, Adho Mukha Svansaana, Uttanasana. So those three poses become really, really important in your practice because they really manipulate the body. What we're trying to do here is to get rid of toxins so that we're a little bit freer, our breath is a little bit freer, our mind is in a really good place. So we bring all these aspects on the mat through physical psychotherapy in a sense. So have a look now. So when you're in this position, you want to see that if you tuck your toes under, if you find these lifts quite difficult, you can tuck your toes under. Now remember what I was saying about Purvottanasana. You want to really use your hands to lift up. be in this position. Be here for a moment. Just see that you press down very strongly into your arms and lift your chest. And then we come into Adho Svansaana. So you want to see that your feet are hip width apart and you push back very strongly with your arms. Very, very strongly. Be there for a few moments. And then we come for Uttanasana. Now you can step in for this. You can have your feet wide. I'm taking mine into a wide action. But I want to see that I'm looking forward and sinking the upper back towards the chest. You've got to let it find that movement. All right, so be in that position and then eventually let the legs take over, push into the back of the thighs, cut these outer hips back as you extend into your folded arm Uttanasana. Let the head release. Let the breath become smooth and even. Soft inhalation, soft exhalation. Okay, and now slowly releasing. All right, well done. All right, so come into a standing position, come into Tadasana. Be in the center of your mat and just take the weight right back into the heels, right back into the heels. Let the arms release down and lift the sternum chest up. So just take a few moments to feel what's going on in the upper back region. We want to get so much motion, so much action there. Just have a look at the screen. I'm going to take the hands now in Paschima Namaskarasana. Now, some of you will struggle with this if you've got really tight shoulders. Can you see here? This is quite a challenge if you've got tight shoulders. Now, if the shoulders are tight, then you hold on to the arms in this way. All right, so we're coming for Paschimottanasana. So just watch the screen for a moment. I'm going to jump those legs or step the legs apart. And then the arms come round. Now you've got to get that length. Remember how we're extending so much in the arms, in the supine action. You've got to get that length so that you can come into this action. Otherwise it's really, really challenging. Then we turn the back foot in really well and turn the whole of the front leg and foot out like this. Now you want to see that you are active in your arms. Active. So you want to again get that Purvottanasana action, lifting up through the center of the body, lifting up so much. And then we come into the forward action. Now it's really good to just come halfway into this fold, just halfway only, halfway only. If you're challenged by this, then you want to see that you've got a couple of bricks and you can put your hands down onto the bricks if it gets too much. But start off with the Paschima Namaskarasana. All right, so come on. Let's have a look. Let's see how you're doing. Okay, come to your right side. Lifting up through the center. Soft inhalation, exhalation. Keep going. Yes, well done. All right. Now, if you need to put your hands to the floor, then you can do so, or onto a couple of bricks, or just keep in the Paschima Namaskarasana as you come up. Come into the center. Be there. Take a few breaths. Okay, so you're ready for the other side now. So let's go for the other side, turning that back foot in, turning the whole of the front leg and foot out. And then we lift up so strongly, and then see, are you able to come forward? So if you feel that you're coming off balance, then you can put your hands down onto a couple of bricks and just be there. Soft inhalation, soft exhalation. So just be there for a few moments. I know it's a challenge, it's quite difficult on balance. If it is, take your hands out of Paschima Namaskarasana or the folded arms, put your hands down onto the floor or onto the bricks. Yeah, it's that easy. Okay, take a breath in and come up. Nothing's easy in yoga, is it? Okay, stand in Tadasana. Take the weight back into the heels. Soft inhalation and exhalation. Okay, so we're introducing Marichyasana 3 now. So when you come for Marichyasana 3, you want to see that if you can get the leg a little bit closer, fine. Those of you with difficulty with this movement in the knee, don't worry about it. Just go where you can. But I'm going to come here. Now, I'm going to lean back a little and see that I'm getting this rotation of the spine and then reaching the arm. So keeping that downward leg really straight and strong, and then see, can you get that lift from the sacral lumbar junction, really coming into this very nicely, and see, can you come into more of the classic action here. Keep that lift strongly. Now, this is all well and good if you've got a good lift in your spine, but if not, don't worry about that. Just pop yourself onto a foam pad or two. Now, if you have a couple of foam pads, then you will need to have a brick behind you. That goes with the territory. So let me just show you. Okay, so when you're here and you're coming into this position, it's a little bit easier to get movement. So those of you with stiff joints, then this is the way to work. Such a nice way of working, keeping that connection, understanding, and then you can walk a little bit further and keep that action really well and lifting up. So, okay, release in. Let's go to the other side if you haven't already done so. Other side. Keeping that connection, understanding, awareness. Okay, so go and see, can you get that rotation? Can you get that turn in action? Can you get that nice lift, soft belly? And then can you get that lift and get that connection? Go on, see, you lift up out of your pelvis. Really get some movement in the spine. Soft inhale and exhale. Well done. Okay, good. All right, and releasing, straightening the legs and lifting up so much. Soft inhalation and exhalation. Okay, so we're going to come for Savasana. We've got the blanket here for the head. If you want the blanket for the head, then do use one. So just straightening your legs. So you've just rested your back, so just straighten your legs and let the legs just release out to the side. And just be aware of your inhalation and exhalation. So whilst you're preparing for your Shavasana, just let the facial features completely release and soften. Become conscious that the ribs expand, the whole chest cavity expands. And then on the exhalation, see if you can keep the exhalation extending into the body. So inhale and then wash internally with the breath. So just watch your breath in this way. Soft inhalation, soft exhalation. So if you'd like to stay in your Shavasana, then do so. Stay in your Shavasana for another few minutes quite easily. Even up to 10 minutes is just so refreshing, so restorative. Those of you coming out of your Shavasana, roll to your right side, come up into a seated position. Don't rush anywhere. And I mean this also mentally. Don't rush to the next thing. And don't ponder on what's happened. Just be very present. I hope you've enjoyed practicing the video today. Look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.